All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Mic Drop. I am your host, the Mike with the most Mike. I've mic'd a lot. My name is Mike, so there's a lot of miking going on. But welcome, and it's been a minute. It's been a couple weeks, and just like I promised, every time that the Middlebury Entitlement School Board is going to continue to portray the circus that they call a meeting, until they actually answer the questions that the people that go to the meetings bring up. It's gotten to a point now where they're kind of no longer worth my time. It's like when you have an argument with an infant, and you know that they're just incapable of understanding your higher level of thinking, and you can keep like hollering at them and trying to make it make sense, but they're just not evolved enough to be able to handle that higher level accountability. So I say that for a couple of reasons. Until Middlebury Community Schools School Board shows, not tells, not says, shows through actions, not words, how they have increased staff self-care and mental health as a priority within the district for the safety of your own children, comma, because, comma, a staff member had lacked so much self-care and mental health from experiencing what they experienced during the schools as they worked there, that he killed himself in the parking lot while on the clock, while school children were in the building. It's been 5 months, and you guys still haven't addressed that. You made a claim that, you were sad about what had happened, and I believe that. I believe that it was a very sad event, and that we as a community mourn for what happened. Community mourned. I didn't see a lot of mourning amongst the school board or anyone in administration at that time. But then again, I wasn't there. So this is my truth. This is a mic drop. But based on what the people who have been there have continued to tell me through their own truth, this seems to be like a pretty continued pattern of behavior. In the psychology world, a pattern of behavior that continues, that's deleterious to everyone around them, is a psychosis. Fancy word that can sometimes mean cray. But I'm getting to a point now in my own advocacy and my own evolution as a school counselor where the tiny power that is Middlebury Community Schools, it's no longer worth my time. The kids are. The community is. And everyone that has to continue to suffer from the lack of internal customer service and mental health and self-care amongst the staff, I will always be continually asking about that and sharing what I hear about that and sharing my truth about that. Because until something drastically changes and the community feels safer with their kids in the schools, because they know that the staff are getting better taken care of than what had happened in the previous year. I mean, is it that hard to say, hey, you know what, maybe we could have stepped it up a little bit when it comes to mental health and care amongst our staff? So we, as a school board, have decided a new initiative that we're going to pour money into the self-care of our employees, and yet, like anything like that at all. But you guys don't even meet long enough to have a discussion about it. I mean, the last 2 board meetings were 15 minutes long. I didn't see yesterday's. I guess it's earlier today. I didn't see earlier today's yet, but I'm not expecting much. So this is what I'm going to say to all the mic drop subscribers and everybody that continue to pour out love to me for what I'm doing, especially against Middlebury entitlement schools, but for Middlebury community schools, the way that it's supposed to be. I'm good. Like, I'm happy. Like, in my life right now, I have started my second full week of work, and I don't have the English to describe the level of differentiation amongst the staff, the mindset, the community. Here, you know what? I'll share something with you guys. Today, we had staff training across the entire district now that I work at. But our building principal pulled our team aside that just work at the Alternative Center and shared with us some news that a former employee of that center had passed away due to medical reasons at the hospital just that evening, earlier. And I didn't know this guy. This is my first year there. But the amount of the overwhelming emotion that poured out of the people instantaneously, everyone in the room just went, and for me, it like overwhelmed me. Like, it shocked me to the point I felt nauseous. Like, that's how empathetic you can become when you're not constantly poisoned by toxicity and you can genuinely care about the people that you work with. I felt it like in a wave, and it was just palpable how much these people cared about this man. And the way that they shared stories about him, the way that they shed tears over him, the way that they just laughed about some of the stories, you'd think this guy was like a lead teacher or like a department chair or like, you know, someone he was a teacher's assistant. He was a TA. He was an aide. For you guys in Middlebury Community Schools, that's going to be a para. Any one of the awesome adults that decides to work for pennies to be a responsible adult in the building for some of our kids that just need a little bit of extra help. They become everything for them. And this man became everything to a staff that chooses to be at a center that works with the most at-risk population of the entire district. You'd think this man was like a saint. It was indescribable. That's my best attempt to describe it. That's what happened when he died. Feels much, much different overall. The conversations I'm having with staff members are about things that matter. We're talking about diversity. We're talking about race relations. We're talking about the poverty line. We're talking about all of the factors that impact every child in the country when it comes to their education and being successful in it. Real stuff. And you know what? It harkens back to a memory, and I try not to be snide, and I try not to speak ill of anyone except from my own experience and how it's truthful to me. One of my colleagues at Middlebury Community Schools used to say, I would really like to work in an at-risk school. I'd really like to work in an urban school at some point, because I think at least at the urban schools, the parents would appreciate all the work that you do there. That's what she said. And I looked at her, and I've been on both sides of the poverty line. I lived in a trailer home until I was 11. And then Dad got the good job, and we moved up, to the east side, all that, and ended up in Westfield, Indiana, in high school. It's two completely different sides. And I thought to myself, you wouldn't last a day. You can't even tolerate the kids in Middlebury that won't stand on the carpet during lunchtime. You can't even stomach the fact that people don't just respect you because you have the title of teacher or adult in the building. And you want to go try your hand in urban? I feared for that lady. Thankfully, she retired. It's just so different. But look at me, y'all. Like, my light is back. I saw kids today for the first time in 18 months. School kids that are going to be talking to me about school things. I saw them today. And you'd think that the difference between someone who's on life support and someone who's off, the proverbial switch, you know, my switched on. And energy and passion and love and positive energy and everything, just like there was a river that kind of made like a little drip of a wave against me, like, hey, we're here. Like your power, your emotions, how well you love on the children, all of that stuff that gives you your fire and your energy and your positivity, it's still here. And they've been hungry. I haven't cheered for a student at anything in close to 2 years. If you know anything about me, you know that's like not breathing. So I am excited about my next journey. It doesn't hurt that my office is 4 times as big as the one that I had, and I'm getting paid more. And the fact that all the benefits in the state are actually paid for by the school district instead of the school district basically reaming you of all of the money you earn in your paycheck to pay for their protected insurance. Yeah, it's a Middlebury entitlement thing, which you're used to by now. So I say all that because I want you to know where I'm at, okay? And I am content with all of the advocacy that I've put out so far in that direction towards Middlebury entitlement schools, because I advocated all the way up to day 1 of their new school year with every ounce of my power, with every ounce of my voice, and it started a movement. And there's pockets of the communities now around Middlebury that are doing everything that I would be doing right now if I was there to help advocate for the safety of not only your children, but the people you trust your children with. That's happening there now. The seeds have been planted. It's growing. Like, I can be hands off and just cheer and like, rock on, let's go. So I get to move into a different direction. That being said, I have a couple big announcements. One of them, well, I'll tell you what. I have never done like a teaser trailer video or anything like that before on the mic drop, so I'll do an attempt at one now, like a this Sunday type of thing. 3 big things are going to change in my life that are indescribably monumental. One of them I'm going to tell you about probably September 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, somewhere right in there. That's going to be part 1 of a huge revelation. Then there will be a follow-up to that one that's probably going to be maybe 1 or 2 months later. So we'll call it November, beginning of November, maybe around Halloweenish. Let's call it that. And that one's going to be huge. Because that announcement is going to conclude a 22-year journey, going on 23 now. And that's over half my life. And something that I've shouldered, something I have lived with for over 2 decades, I finally get to release. I finally get to walk away from. And I can't wait to share it with you guys, because it's one of the answers to why do I have to work so hard? Why is it so hard to do life right now? Why do I have to work my butt off when it seems like other people don't have to? Because you're building your kingdom. One of my former graduates reached out to me just this past weekend, and we had an old school high school counseling session. It was like 60 to 90 minutes, Zoom call, talking about life, girls, job, future, family, success. And he used the words, there just seem to be too many people living in my empire that's not really helping my empire to thrive. Think on that one for a second. All the hardship you're facing right now, especially you 20-somethings, all my graduates, I'm going to continue to say this to you so you know you're not alone. It's arguably the worst 20-somethings that you can live through since like the Great Depression or like the war, stuff like it's a bad decade to be in your 20s after a global pandemic right now. When you work hard enough for something and you achieve it, those who love you and want your empire to thrive will celebrate you. And those that are in your empire that don't want your empire to thrive, that want to be all about them, they won't celebrate you. They'll celebrate what your success does for them. You'll notice the difference, because the entire time I've been talking to you guys, I've been asking you to think on your own. Create your own ideas, your own truth based on what you experience, what you feel, what you believe. Think critically and analytically about everything that's presented to you. I want you guys to come up with your own conclusions on this. And I'm going to be able to put forth a 22-year case study on why hard work pays off, which for me is going to be awesome. And I can't wait to share it with you. But that's only part 2. There will be a third part. And this one's probably going to come around the time of Christmas break. I'm going to say maybe that week before Christmas, maybe week and a half. And that's going to be a revelation and a forecasting of the future, which, for us big-worded people, it would be soothsaying. Haven't got to use that one in a while. And it's going to be lit, y'all. Like, I got to just tell you, my kids, like, no cap, this thing is going to be, you're going to be so happy. And it's going to be like, oh, okay, we love Mohan, and he went through all that, and this is what's happening. Okay, thank God. And yes, I do, man. I thank God all the time. I wouldn't be alive right now without that dude coming and reminding me of everything that he had to face when he was here, trying to save what he said was the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And he referred to children. He's like a 10-year-old boy. Those are the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And what they did to him when he tried to come and say, yeah, just some stuff. So it's like, I'm grateful every day that I've been saved by the one who saves us all. So I don't need to make this one a half hour. This doesn't need to be episodic anymore, because I get to put that chapter to the side. Now, if you remember way back when I told you how this thing is going to evolve, there's going to be the mic drop. Obviously, there's going to be Mike's drops, which are going to be little individual type things about me and kind of, who I am, where I'm from, how I've become to be that I am. And then there's going to be another kind of fun portion, which is still kind of in development. Although, I will say, people seem to really love my TikTok. Apparently, I'm a funny guy. I mean, I thought I was funny just because people laughed at a lot of the stuff I did. Turns out I'm actually funny to a degree, to the right audience. So that's been very affirming as well. So that's still going to come around. But even though this mic drop chapter it's literally, it's the march to the next school year of the Middlebury Entitlement School saga. Call it, Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 1. If there needs to be a second volume, and there probably will be, because hopefully if there needs to be a second volume, I will always come back to this. And you'll see AfterMath Part 10, you'll see Middlebury Entitlement School Saga Part 30. Like, if it fits and new stuff keeps happening, bro, I'm going to bring it to you. If someone needs their truth shared because of some stuff that's going on this year, bet that I don't share it as loudly as I would share my own truth, if you ask me. If it's to help the kids, if it's to bring light to the staff hardships, I don't care what happens to me. I don't. I never have. It's probably part of the problem. I care about what happens to me a little bit more now. So, for those of you that have been worrying, thank you. You have helped me to learn how to love myself better through showing me how much you all have loved me. And so it's always returned, 100%. But as this one comes to a close, I'm probably going to start doing a little bit more Mike's drips, because the transitional period of what I've had to advocate for when it comes to Middlebury, I'm okay putting that on the shelf for a little bit. And I'm really excited to bring you guys some things about where I'm working at now. And I told you in a previous video, the school district I'll be working for now, I will not be doing any mic drop videos the way that I was mic dropping about Middlebury Entitlement Schools while I'm working there, because it would be a conflict of interest for the children. I want the children to come see me as their counselor, not because there's some crazy, shady stuff going on at the administrative level that they feel they need to come talk to me. I want them to be able to come talk to me about them first and only. So I made that promise. But that doesn't mean that there are not going to be tons of positive things that are going to be happening in my life working at this new place that I can't wait to share with you guys. And there's going to be an entire volume of comparing and contrasting what an entitled school looks like versus what I believe a community school should look like. And I think I'm at the right place to do that. I feel it. And y'all know when you feel it, when you get in that zone and you feel it and you're really feeling it, you're like, yeah, this. Y'all know my old basketball players used to do that, get in the zone. Jay Buckets, crazy kid, crazy hair, loved to death. But he was the one that taught me to say, let's go. And I will say this to all of those in Middlebury right now. It's a new school year. Your school board hasn't done what they needed to do since the stuff that happened last school year to take care of the things they need to. No one is surprised by that now. It's just sad. Again, you get to make your own choices on whether or not you want to take your school to that school district, whether you want to work there. I want you to. This isn't a hate speech piece against anything. I want you to be informed, because I wasn't, and I know what that led me to. And I heard what it led John Homan to, and read what it led John Homan to. And I just don't want that happening. I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think advocating at a school board to say, I don't want this happening again, a situation like John Homan, happening this school year. I don't think that's a bad thing. They still apparently think it's a bad thing because I'm still on trespass and I can't ever show up to Middlebury Entitlement Schools. So, it's what happens when people don't like what you're saying in their kingdom. They excommunicate you from their kingdom so they can keep their walls up and tell their population whatever they want. I'm pretty sure China does it. They control the media that goes in and that kind of stuff. I don't know. It's a thought. So come up with your own conclusions. The next time you'll hear from me, it's probably going to be just a little bit over 2 weeks, unless I got something else going on in here. But it's going to be the first of some big announcements. So, to everyone who has reached out to me in support of me going to the new school this school year, for those of you that are sending me love, congratulations, we wish you the best of luck. All of the well wishes, I feel them. I feel them like high fives and hand hugs and full on hugs and bro hugs and fist bumps. Like, I feel encouraged. I feel supported. Thank you. I love you guys a lot. You're one of the reasons I breathe right now. So for all the love you're pouring into me right now, I pour it back onto you. I really pray and hope and wish with every fiber of my being that Middlebury Community Schools has a great school year. And nothing like what happened with John Homan last year and what happened with me the year before happens to any staff member there ever again. I hope that sincerely. That's my heart. I'm scared, but I am hopeful. I love you guys. This is Mike from the Mic Drop, and we out.